Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Subject 4 podcast. We're a fan-made podcast for the Matthias Channel on YouTube for his 863 series. We just all gather together after the episodes and we talk about it. I am on stage right now with one of the podcast heroes. His name is Nugs. Hi, Nugs.
Hey.
Well,
getting warm.
Do you want to tell people what we're doing because Artemis got bored?
Yeah, so the episode, today's episode at least, we will be going over it a little bit later in today's episode, but we're going to be kind of doing a Road So Far episode. We did one similar to this in season 2. We're going to go over each episode in a brief kind of description, kind of going over what was going on, and then kind of talk about our theories later on, figuring out, just thinking about what we're what's going through our heads right now with the series. So,
well,
that's what we're gonna be doing.
Again, I watched the episode.
Theories.
I got bored halfway through. Okay, all right. To be completely honest, was doing the show beats. I literally stopped when it said next day and saw a shiny object. Like, I could not continue with the show beats because I knew that it was just like I don't know, like 15 minutes of just trying to convince somebody to come to the studio who didn't want to come to the studio. So I was just like, ugh. The end. There's the episode.
Yeah. To me, it wasn't. I wouldn't call it boring. It definitely wasn't. It wasn't a very, what's the word? Action-packed episode, I guess. I think it could have definitely been merged with next week's episode, merged with the episode of them talking to the survivor. Just because it's kind of, Artemis and I were talking earlier, and she had said, it was kind of drawn out. Like, they could have put it in a little, 5-6 minute bit and then put it with the rest of it. So I think they could have done that.
Sorry. Squatters in the comments saying that I'm a fake fan. I said, totally. That's why I made a podcast to fake all of you.
Oh.
Yep. You caught me, squatter.
Yes. You got me.
You caught me. I knew it.
Is sus. We'll get into that later.
Yeah, we will get into
I have some things.
We're gonna piss everyone off again. So what we're gonna do, if you're a fan, like Nug said, if you were a fan of Supernatural, we're gonna be doing The Road So Far. So we're gonna go back. We're gonna start with season 1. We're gonna end season 3.
Yeah, we're starting all the way to the beginning.
No, ain't nobody got time for that. We are going to start all the way on episode 1, and we're going to go through, read the descriptions of the videos, kind of talk about what happened in those videos, kind of like collect our thoughts. We kind of have this breath. We will take this episode what it is. It's a breath before a new character gets introduced and more data comes to our plates and wrecks our brains. Because so far we have a lot of trails that kind of have dead ends, and I think we need to go back and remember those. So, so we have Nugs. Nugs is doing odds because he's the oddball, and I'm doing evens. Ha.
Rude. I chose odds.
He did. Right. I asked him if he wanted to do odds or evens, and this is what he wanted. So, anyways.
So, this episode is the first of season 3. So this is directly after, or at least a little bit after, Matt takes the bat to the server. And the description is as follows. Welcome back to Project 863, or What Once Was. We start this third season off with something something of the spooky variety. The paranormal has once again entered Spellbound Inc., and it's up to the team to try and figure out what's going on. Will they be able to find an explanation for these strange occurrences? But beyond that, a deeper, darker question is lurking. Who could possibly be doing this? So this episode is the first episode that we start seeing the writing on the walls. It's so the first one being the can you keep a secret on above Bailey's desk, and then the upstairs, the are you listening? Um you're not listening, sorry. Up by Sam's office.
Mm-hmm. And
And then
then and then Bailey's. What was behind Bailey's desk again? We see it almost in every
can
episode.
you keep a secret was
Oh yeah,
behind Bailey's. You're not listening was over by Sam's, and then over in Red Base we had the help me.
yeah. The help me.
So those were the first three, and I wasn't it that they happened while they were on a break or they weren't there or something?
It was. It
Or it
was
was a
right.
weekend. It was a weekend.
It was in between the seasons. So we
Well, right, no,
had.
but it happened in a weekend, so Friday
Yeah, it
night,
did.
Saturday night, Sunday night.
Like that Friday, Matt destroyed the server, and then that Monday they found these writings.
Mhm.
This is also the episode where we check the nest footage, and we find out they kind of like bleed through the wall. They don't just like appear. They just like it kind of just bleeds through. So interesting. And that is an interesting way to kick off our new season.
I will say for going off from the last season was very very action packed. There was a lot of
Yeah.
suspense and whatnot. Going off now to the more mystery, um, the now it's not as much action. It's more mystery oriented and trying to figure out what the heck's going on
Yeah.
instead of seeing the team fight each other over opinions.
Yeah. Well, so then we go to episode 2, which is called Overnight Challenge to catch ghostwriting on our walls. And the description for this is another overnight challenge is on the horizon. The team prepares themselves with snacks, games, and a good time, trying to ignore the uneasy tension at what they're going to do. Staying overnight at the studio isn't something new for some of them, but the thought of catching a ghost in action after all this time can be rather haunting. Will they find the culprit behind the red writing on the walls, or is it going to be another mystery that is left completely unanswered? So
And
this
that answer is still not answered.
I
we still don't know.
Still don't know. This episode, I do remember you were kind of bored with this episode because it was like, oh, they're gonna get snacks, they're doing an overnight, blah blah blah
Oh,
blah.
yeah, so this was the episode where I am professionally odd. I love this. I'm saving this. Hold on. That's funny. But yeah, this was the episode where, I think somebody said, Christy here said it was the 7th overnight video. And I think this was the episode where I just thought the idea, or at least the layout of the video and how it was just predictable. They go to this, they decide to stay overnight, they get snacks, they come, they hang out, do some weird stuff, and then, something crazy happens.
Yeah.
And then they go home because they don't want to stay the rest of the night. It's been like that for multiple overnight videos that they've done. So I was like, okay, it's not my favorite. I think it was just the idea or the layout was just overdone. I think if they do another overnight video, I think they should change the way they do it.
like already have the snacks there, or they
Well,
have to fight
I
for
don't know, but
snacks.
I feel like it was, it's like you have the episode notes for one of their overnight videos, and then it's just copy and pasted with different information for the next, 6 episodes of the
Yeah,
overnight ones.
I mean, I'm always kind of bummed when they don't want to stay overnight because basically we stayed at work late. Challenge. It's not an overnight challenge.
Yeah, it's just, it's yeah. I
um, yeah, I can, I
I
can
mean, I
get
I
that.
wouldn't say it was a terribly, it wasn't boring per se, but it was too predictable.
Mm,
To the point where I was just like, it's just another overnight video.
yeah. Um. Well, you have the next one. You have episode 3.
I do have the next one. The next episode is titled "I Found Something Upsetting Under My Floorboard." And this episode was a very interesting one. So this episode, before I read the description, this is the one where obviously they find the body outline under the floorboards, which was something very interesting to find in a little office, a little office room. And then it kind of that this kind of just kicks off what the heck is the season has to do with. So the description, and welcome back to your regular scheduled Project 863 video. The red writing on the walls has not stopped as Spellbound ink. If anything, it's become a permanent fixture for the team to be guessing about. However, today may be the day that some answers are found. After investigating some new writing in the upstairs red base, the team sets off to Subject 4 to see if they have any ideas for what it could mean. And when the smoke clears, what they find is shocking, while also making them question how much of this will come up before they're done with once and for all. So this episode, all of the was where the I think this is the episode where they start finding the arrows, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, the arrows led them to this room, which is old Gigi's break room. Well,
Yeah.
what was supposed to be Gigi's break room. I do want to make a reminder if you guys are going through the video uploads, the reason that this one says, welcome back to your regular scheduled 863 video, is because we did get 3 videos in the middle of season 3 that me and Nugs have skipped, and they were recaps. They were basically their road so far kind of episodes. And they were
Their
designed,
cinematic
yeah,
recap of the seasons.
yeah, and they were designed to, if you have friends who want to join into um the story. I mean, it's a lot to catch up on. There's a lot of facts, there's a lot of
Oh
trails,
yeah.
there's a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of data out there. And so those videos are really good to basically force your friends to plug and play type of thing. So if you ever want to get your friends hooked, those are those videos. And so we did skip those because they're not part of season 3. They're part of seasons 0, 1, and 2. So I wanted to clarify that. But yeah, this episode, they find the chalk outline, which is, I did name this podcast episode. What did I name it? Sorry. I named
I don't
it
know. What did you name it?
I named it Distractions from 2 Deaths. Like, this is one that we know. We don't, okay, to be honest, it was a little clickbaity. We don't know if there were deaths. We've never seen bodies. In season 2, we did see blood-soaked clothing, but we never saw a body. We did see a gravestone. They never really decided to dig or anything. Somebody else did that for them. But and then this episode, we've got this chalk outline, which suggests somebody had died there. But we still don't know. It's another dead end. It's just like the writing. We don't know where this came from, and it lasted for a couple episodes and then disappeared. Like, no, like we still, John Doe still has not come back to them and said, "Oh, I dug this up. Your murder victim is blah 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 blah."
Yeah.
Yeah, he like John. That whole like email back and forth kind of got buried because of what what happens next in our saga. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I found it well because I wonder if it wasn't done with chalk, because I would think that if it was chalk, it probably wouldn't have been it wouldn't be so prominent, and I don't know how much it would have stayed. So either it's been around, or either it's not necessarily chalk and it's been around for a long time, because it's something else, or it is chalk and it's more recent than we think.
yeah. So I mean,
Yeah, something like paint or something. Yeah, something like
yeah,
that.
paint, white out, something other than
White
chalk.
out. Some dude is just like
Over there with that little
scraping
tiny
white
brush
out.
from the bottle. Sorry, I'm in a mood today. So, but I mean, I do. Sorry, let me catch. Mouth needs to catch up with the brain here. I do enjoy the fact that it was somebody in subject 4 community who was the one that told them to look up the floorboards because of the writing. um do you fancy me mad? And do you fancy me mad is a quote from the Edgar Allan Poe's Tall Tale Heart, and
Oh yeah,
where
that's
they
right.
find the body. Well, the man kills the man who is telling the story of this poem, kills the old man, and he buries the old man underneath the floorboards, and he can still hear the heartbeat of the old man, and it drives him insane to where he has to confess his murder. um and so I know that there is a theory that this is like the "do you fancy me mad?" and the ghost is confessing this murder. That was a theory out there.
This episode sparked my theory, um that it could have been, I can't remember exactly what it was because it was a while ago, but it was, it could possibly have been, Deb trying um to convince the team that she killed, or she had killed Wes, or killed somebody for a justifiable reason. But that, I don't know about it now. I just know that was a theory I had at the time, um, when the um, episode came out.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to revisit these theories now that we are going back and re-looking and going episode by episode and be like, "Oh yeah, that was the thing that we thought about then."
Yeah.
Does it stick now? And whether
See, that's what I was thinking. Is like, I don't know about that now. Like, I don't know, and I don't think it's Deb anymore. Like, at the time, there was a lot of different theories on who it could be, and we still don't know who it is or what it is that's doing it. But I don't think it's Deb anymore,
mm, yeah. I don't think it is either. I mean,
because even
because
if
back
because
then we
even if
thought
it
it was.
was even if it was the murder itself, according to her, was an accident, right? She
And
had
it
meant
happened
to
in a
put.
car and not in a room.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
So, I mean, she could have killed more people. Who knows? If you can kill one person, if you can kill one person, it's all like, wow, well, I've already hit bottom. Like, I can't get lower, right?
See, this was another one of those theories that kind of sparked up around this time as well. Was that it was Jordan,
Yeah.
um, instead of Deb, because of the hair. Well, I guess it's technically later on, but even then, I don't think I still don't think it was Jordan at all. That video that will the camera video kind of distorted things, and we'll go over that once we get to that episode. But um
Yes, Ink Knight. That's It just killed my fiance.
Might as well go on offense.
I've never killed anyone that could be like, you're like, I could do it again. Like, I don't know. I don't
Are
know.
you
how
sure about
is.
that? That FBI license says otherwise. I'm just kidding. Or that clearance says otherwise. I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, my FBI clearance level 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
License to kill. I'm just
That
kidding.
basically the janitors get level 1 clearances. So it's just funny to have. So let's jump to episode 4. You just did episode 3. Episode 4 is called Caught on Camera, Paranormal Footprints Leading Away.
Ooh. This is probably one of my favorite episodes of the season.
Is it?
It's one of them. I think this one and the one that comes after it is pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the description for this is, and so the plot thickens. It turns out that the room with the body outline isn't finished with the team and intends to lead them on another wild goose chase to where it's unclear at first, but the discovery itself finally opens up a piece of evidence that everyone's been waiting for since the team first found it, but it seems to provide some new information, hopefully to give them a light in the dark. That was a big old. It still hasn't answered what they're talking about.
It's like, is this going to answer? Is this gonna, no,
it gives us a fat load of and more questions. What this is referring to catch you all up, ever since they found it in Wes's storage unit, there was a file cabinet back in season 2 that they never opened, and then we had Matt go on his bat bender and like basically beat the crap out of the server and say that everything's gone, everything's done, I'm done, so therefore you're done, we're all done.
Well, if we think back to what we were talking about around that time, this was after Matt, like you said, took a bat to the server, right?
Yeah.
He was trying to stay away from anything Project 863 for a while. You know, he was heart set on keeping Project 863 quote unquote dead, right? Yeah. And so this was the episode, this was that point in which Matt decided, well, I guess we're not out of it, because he was trying to explain all of this in other ways, trying to get around it being 863 related, because he didn't want to go back into it because he was already frustrated with Deb and all this. Well,
not only that, I mean, he just found out that the person that they were taking point on, that they were following, was a murderer.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, wouldn't you be like, okay, you're done, you're done, you're done, you know? Sorry.
You know, I still don't, I don't find that funny. I don't know. Like, everybody's like, it's so funny.
It's so funny.
It's not.
I work with teenagers and they constantly, like, if I say a dad joke, what did I say the other day? I can't remember. It's told Shades.
I don't know. I wasn't there.
I told that would be weird. I told Shades, I'll have to look it up, but he was just the kids were like, okay, you're done. You're done. I'm like, no, you're done. Go to your room.
Yeah, no, I see it all the time, and I'm just like,
but that's basically what Matt told us at the end of season 2. Like, you're done, okay, goodbye. You guys are just fans again. No subject 4. I'm not a subject. You're not a subject. Yay, us. So
we're the random people on online podcast where we go over the random YouTube channel.
We're the random people podcast. If you know. Yeah,
we're a bunch of random people that were once like decently known about within a community, and then nobody cared anymore.
Nobody cares anymore. Yeah, if 863 is dead, subject 4 podcast is dead as well. So we'll just be the podcast. That's a good name.
The podcast.
The
That's probably
podcast.
copywritten somewhere.
I know, that's gotta be our name. Well, because I can't say that joke. Dang it! There's a very is Squatter still in the audience here? There is
no.
If there was ever to be a Shades and Squatter podcast, I have the perfect name for it. It is the most fantastic name, but I would have to get Squatter's permission to say it because it has personal ties to him, so I can't really say it.
Gotcha.
But
that makes sense.
I will tell you in private, you'll love it. They had the best podcast name and the best ship name. But anyway,
well, hey, so do you and Shades, the one that I made.
What was it?
Wait,
what was the name?
Hold on.
Are you pulling it up? Nugs is typing, everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Artemis.
Yeah.
The Artemis. Oh. But going back to this episode, they basically get a whole bunch of like ghost hunting equipment. And as someone who's been watching, who's a big fan of like ghost hunters and taps and ghost adventures and stuff like that, the thing
I love that show, by the way.
The thing that they use in this episode I've never heard of. They got it on Etsy. It was definitely a DIY project, and I'm all like, what the is that? But Matt plugs it into his phone, and it shows footprints leading from the room with the body outline. And
I found it so fun. As they were looking for these products, it was when they first brought up going to Etsy, I was like, why on earth are you going to Etsy to look for products like this?
Exactly.
Like Etsy is where people, like Zoe will sell their arts and crafts, right?
Yeah.
It's like, all right, we're gonna go in arts and crafts shopping for some paranormal investigation products.
Etsy shopping. We're going Etsy shopping, guys.
Yeah, it's just, I was like, why on earth are you going to Etsy?
They
of all places?
He added like an EMF detector. He added there was just a bunch of things that he added to the cart, but he pulled this janky thing out, and I was like, what the heck? But this showed footprints leading from the break room with the body outline to a closet where Woods had shoved the file cabinet, which is weird. Why did... Okay. I'm just gonna level with subject 4 really quick, okay?
Okay.
Why did he put it in the closet? Like,
that's where the ghosts hide. I'm just kidding.
But no. But why did Woods?
Oh, Woods.
Why did Woods?
Studio cleanliness says
why?
Says Chanel.
Hi, Chanel. Jinx. But why did
studio cleanliness? I guess that makes sense, though.
but they put evidence in more secure places. Like, I'm not kidding. But
it's a filing
they have a vault. What? He shoved it in a closet. And I don't even think the closet locks.
And it's heavy. It probably is heavy with all those papers.
True, but I mean, where's the desk right now? He didn't shove the desk in there.
That makes sense too. Soroxa brings up a good point. He says, at that point, Project 863 is dead. Who cares about the evidence anymore?
It's just...
That's a good point.
It's weird. Let's just shove it in the closet with the toilet paper rolls. Anyway, that was a bunny trail. Anyway. So we all find the file cabinet that Subject 4 has been like, we wanted to see what's inside since we ever saw it, and they never opened it, and we've been like whining about it, and they finally remembered it because the ghost remembered it.
They're like, oh yeah, the filing cabinet's in this closet.
In the closet. that we put next to the paper towel rolls. That's weird. They open it up and there was a cold file.
Wait, that's the next episode.
Oh, that
no,
is the
is it
next.
not the- is
No.
it? Well, I guess it's a cliffhanger. and
Yeah,
then
it's the
next episode.
cliffhanger. They were like, let's see if one of the files are cold and it leads to you. Now where are
And
we?
then the usual end of episode gasp face. Like, Matt looks at the camera with an open mouth or something.
Yeah.
Uh,
So what happens?
do you wanna go to the next episode then?
Yeah.
Alrighty. The next episode is He Would Only Talk to Me. I survived little side rant here. I've always found, since this episode came out, I had always found this. I survived a maximum security prison. I always just found that odd. It's like, what did he how survived? Why?
I survived going in there and being a visitor.
Yeah,
like the Monopoly game, just visiting. Like I wasn't sent to jail. I survived.
Yeah. So the title is He Would Only Talk to Me. I survived a maximum security prison. The team continues from where they left off, investigating the cold file that they saw on the ghost device. But it really only seems to leave more questions than answers. But their day is not quite over yet. John Doe finally responds and has a proposition for Matthias. Benjamin Cobalt wants to talk, but he wants to talk now. It's too good for an opportunity to pass up, so the team gathers their thoughts to put together what they want to ask their old stalker. Will it be a fruitful mission, or will it cloud this mystery even further on who's really in control?
Dun, dun,
and so this episode, they go to, quite obvious, a maximum security prison where they see Ben essentially unmasked. He still has the mask over his nose and mouth, but you see him not in this. Yeah, no goggles, Ben. You see him not in this, creepy black coat and bright red goggles and hood that we see in season 2, like the episode where Matt confronted Ben. But he's in a little prison outfit with his long straggly black hair. And it's really interesting to see his face. You don't see his face at all. And in season 2, Matt said he had seen Ben's eyes, and that was kind of odd for him because it kind of put a human what's the word?
characteristics to him.
Yeah, characteristics to what they really only saw as this kind of monstrous character.
Well, and it was also weird because his eyes were red. And I don't mean like he was smoking up a joint before this shooting. Like the irises were, they were red. And everyone went.
Him. That's the word. Thank you, Ezra.
Yeah, everyone went. What? They're red.
I didn't even notice it at first either. I was like, I was just kind of watching, and then I was like, oh wait.
Yeah, I know. Squatter has been going over this episode because he's been trying to color correct it into being more of a dungy, like the prisons that we're used to seeing like on Law and Order type of thing, that kind of feel to it. And
yeah, and it was like a really clean,
really like clean neon, prison, like fluorescent lighting and studio lighting type of stuff. But one of the things when he was color correcting it, it lost the red eye color, and I was like, no, you gotta bring that back.
You gotta keep it there
because that's the weird thing.
One of the things I found kind of funny about this episode is Matt's shirt, and this is the episode where he goes to the prison with this black and white
please.
striped shirt.
Yeah,
Where it was like this, it's
the
if you think of
old
like old
prisoner.
prison outfits, the shirt theory. No, it's not
Yeah.
even the theory. I just found it funny that
Well,
he
Bailey said something to him when they were doing a Reddit React video where she was all like, "Yeah, that," or maybe it was Sam, because I can hear Sam saying it, like,
Yeah, I think it
choice
was
of
Bailey.
that choice of shirt was not a good choice, Matt. Like, you looked like a prisoner.
Yeah, he's the prisoner of the situation.
Yeah, that's how he survived. Like, because
Yeah.
they kept thinking he was he was supposed to be on the other side of the bars.
Yeah.
Don't forget, in this episode, it left off with a what? A
With a
Synetc.
what?
It left off with a Synetc pen.
That and that's another one of those things that it's not it hasn't been explained. We don't have
It
an answer.
it hasn't been explained, but it's also been overlooked because it's like we have
Oh yeah.
so
Oh
much
yeah,
going
definitely
on. We
overlooked.
have so much
Yeah.
going on. We have Wood's line. He might be a mole. Like, and our last podcast talking about like all the times Wood says screwed up. We've I can't believe like we've forgotten the pen so quickly. Um and it's one of
Yeah.
those things that we have to keep in the back of our minds as we continue along on this journey. But we also can't forget the cold file. We did, when in the very beginning of this episode, they did open up the file cabinet, and there was one of the files that was cold. And if you're a ghost hunter or anything like that, you know that coldness is kind of an indicator of ghost activity. So we had a file, and it was Ronald Bergs, right? Am I getting that last name right? Ronald Bergs.
Not figured out. The person we have not even figured out yet. We
Well,
don't know anything about him.
everyone keeps thinking it's the ghost, like, but
I don't
do we know that? Like, maybe the ghost
I
was
don't
just having
know if
reading
it
material.
is. Like it's possible that it is if Ronald is a patient or test subject, that the reason um this ghost led to later on in the season led to the file that Woods had was because they were friends or something. Ronald and in this the unnamed test subject that we'll see in next week's episode. um Maybe they were friends. And so when Ronald saw that Woods took the file, he was like, oh,
Well, and one of
that's not
the
good.
things is like, maybe the person who's in the outline, maybe that's Ronald, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the ghost, right?
Right, exactly. And
So,
knowing that
or vice
this
versa,
this
it could
location
be,
probably had a lot more than just one death.
yeah, it could be even reversed. It could be the ghost name doesn't necessarily have to be the chalk outline name. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
so we still don't have any answers.
Nothing.
We know nothings.
We know nothing. Yeah. And in this episode, or at least around this episode, is what I'm thinking is about the time that Woods ended up seeing the file of his family friend, and
Yes.
ended up taking it. So this is probably, the day of or the day after is probably about that time when he took the file and brought it home.
Yes, if you do, they do.
They
They
do
do
do.
get a they do get a shot, like, if you are on YouTube watching that image right there of the file cabinet, you do see a shot of the files in that top section, and you can make out the file that Woods took. Um so that's you can see that. We don't know when Woods took it, but
Yeah, we assume it was about this time though, because I don't think they would have done it when they were all in the room.
no, I'm
But
wondering. I'm wondering. Like we mentioned last week, it could have been like Chanel noticed that she was missing a file, but then I got to thinking, like, how would Chanel know that she was missing a file when she's documenting the files? So I'm wondering if Woods brought the files to Chanel and that's when he swiped it.
yeah.
And was all, and probably looked through them, was looking through them and was all like, oh, here's Chanel, here's the files. Oh, you don't need that one. Let me take it. I don't know. But let's go ahead and jump into our next episode, which is there are whispers coming
I'm gonna
from
grab some
inside.
water while you're reading this.
Okay. There are whispers coming from inside our walls. So, sorry, running OBS and have multitasking at the same time. So, this was uploaded December 7th, 2021. The description is, after the conversations from the previous episodes with Benjamin Cobalt, Matthias decides to fill in the rest of the team on what transpired and what was said between them. And after some time to digest, it's the wording about voices that really seems to have gotten everyone's attention. Was it the ramblings of a deranged former employee being battered about by the serum? Or more hauntingly, is there some truth in it? The team decides to investigate around the studio, paying specific attention to the walls with writing on them. And what they hear on the other side might indeed give some truth to B27's odd chatter back at the prison.
Dun dun dun.
I know. You can add that dun 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 to almost like every one of these descriptions.
Yeah, with all these little descriptions. Yeah.
So, if you are watching on YouTube, the picture that I posted that is not necessarily on this episode, but it does show the people that there's whispering coming from the walls, but there is subject 4 doesn't get to hear it. So honestly, this episode doesn't have much other than them run, because I remember I was struggling kind of like, well, I don't have anything to talk about because we didn't get to hear anything. So
I'll give you something to talk about. I'm just kidding. Wood's little jury-rigged stethoscope device.
Oh yeah, with the skull candy.
I just found that so funny because they it's little earbuds attached to a stethoscope.
Yeah,
I just found it funny. I mean, I think I feel like it could have worked without the earbuds. It was amazing. It was totally amazing, but I feel like it could have worked without the earbuds.
It could have.
But
I mean, they do. I wonder. So it does specify in this description that they did pay close attention to the walls that had writing on them. Maybe they should try walls that don't have writing. Maybe it's a different voice. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Because we don't,
we didn't get to hear it.
Like, we can't hear it.
Yeah.
They're all like, Matt's like,
Wait, Matt's like,
and
what?
We're just like, what? What's
Matt's
going
like,
on?
what?
What do you hear? And we're all like, what's going on? What are you hearing? And so Matt really has to explain, to the camera what they're all hearing.
Well, they do try to put, he puts his microphone up to the stethoscope, but all we hear is static.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember after this episode, I went on to Reddit and was all like, Again, ghost hunting equipment you should have bought instead of the Etsy thing, even though the Etsy thing led them somewhere. But, it's called a parabolic dish.
Parabolic dish, yeah.
Yeah,
Which is what they end up using in another episode.
I know! And I'm all like, hey, look!
I'll talk about that when we get to the next episode.
Well, go ahead. Honestly, there's not much in this episode. They run around. They react to, listening to the walls, and we can't hear it. The end.
This next episode is one of my favorites of the series, as well. So this episode is titled, "He Was Not Prepared to Hear the Paranormal Voices." The team is eager to see if they can find a way to get a better idea of what the voices behind the walls are saying. But there's only one way they can think of. Enter Mike Badal and his dope high-tech gear with a side of fear of the paranormal. Will they be able to convince him? And once more, what will they find listening that closely? Because sometimes when you stare into the void, all it does is stare back. And so in this episode, the team is just confused at trying to figure out what they can do to hear the voices,
or get subject 4 to hear it.
Let us hear them, right? And so they thought, well, let's go and talk to Mike, because as we all know, Mike is an audio expert extraordinaire. He does a whole lot for them. And so when they go to ask him to do it, they kind of explain that Mike doesn't like this type of stuff. He's been distancing himself and not trying to become a part of all this, because he really doesn't like to think about all of it, especially in a workplace. He's gonna try to stay away from it as much as he can. So when they go to ask him, he decides, oh well, I don't want to do it. It's out of my comfort zone. And this is where the kind of evil Matt theory, and we'll get into that later, kind of sparks off, because of the way Matt handled it. Because Matt pulled rank on Mike. He said, "I'm your boss, and you're going to do this for me." Does that justify what he did? No, not at all. He doesn't have the right to do it.
The team told Matt to say that.
Well, no, but the team told Matt to ask him, but they didn't tell him to pull rank. And you can tell that
you need to go back and watch. You need to go back and watch the episode, because they were like, "Well, we need Mike to do this. He's an employee here.
Right?
He shouldn't be able to just tell you no."
I still think at this point, I think Woods was like, "Come on, Matt, why'd you do that?" But after pulling rank, Mike decides to do it. And Mike brings a little like a portable sound recorder that he'll bring on to different places when he does sound stuff. But when they go into that room, this is where talking about that parabolic dish again. They're talking about, like, Mike was like, wouldn't you use EMF detectors and all, like, to listen to this stuff? And Woods is like, oh, I think I got that. I think I got something for that. And then he brings in this parabolic dish. I'm like, that has nothing to do with EMF. He's like, I think I got this. I think I got something that does that. And then he brings in a parabolic dish, which has nothing to do with any of that.
Well, let's also remember this is the episode that, well, when they go into the room with Mike, Wood says hello to the chalk outline.
Yeah.
And this episode was actually the episode that I realized that there was a face spray painted on the chalk outline.
Well, there wasn't
when they lifted up the four floorboards, But when they lifted up the floorboards, that episode, it didn't have the happy face, but the next episode does. Because I had to go back and find out like when that happened.
Right.
And I was like, how come I like just breezed over that?
Yeah.
Which that I don't know. If it's the ghost, like if it was my chalk outline, would you draw a happy face on there?
No.
No.
Well, I mean, if it was my ghost,
Squala,
I'd have
yes.
problems of my own at that point. But
I mean, I would have put like X's over my eyes and trying to make it like a face, not a I'm sure, boy, golly gee whiz, I'm so glad you found me, guys. Like
I sure, boy, golly gee whiz.
I don't know that happy face weirds me out.
But going back to the episode, well, not that we weren't talking about it before. This is the episode. Well, after they hear it and after Mike brings it through his software, Matt tosses the little USB drive at Matt and then quits. Longtime employee, longtime friend of Matt, quits his job, and this is, yeah. Like
Mike did bring up a good point when Matt pulled him into the break room to get kind of privacy because, mommy and daddy are fighting. We shouldn't do it in front of the kids. But, we'll do it in front of subject 4 because your guys' mics are still on. But Mike did come up with a good point and said, just because I have a salary here doesn't mean that you get to push me and pressure me into doing something that I'm not comfortable with. Which I totally agree. But you could have given them the equipment, showed them how to do it, and then sent them on their merry way. There were a couple of things that they could have done to avoid the quitting. I do agree with that.
There were.
Because technically the things in the case that Mike was using belongs to Matt and his company. So show Matt how to use his own equipment. That sounds weird. But I do agree with those things. But do you want to share why he got scared and quit?
Ooh, here's the chilling part. The ghost. So after going through and with this software and trying to clear what this voice, clear out the static from the voices, we got. Well, did we hear directions in this episode or did we just get to
We
the other
did
part?
not hear the directions.
So in this episode specifically, he went to the end because Mike had said, "Hey, go to the end. This is why, this is one of the reasons why I'm quitting, or this is the reason." The voices said, "Hello, Woods." And that was the end of that episode. The wood. That was the end of that episode.
I know, and I remember I was like, why is everyone freaking out? He told it hello.
Why is everybody saying it?
I know, I'm like, it's just a polite ghost. It's just saying hi back. I'm trying to think if there was any theories in this episode that didn't really get answered in the next episode. I don't really think so. But I remember that podcast, me and Shades, while we were talking, Mike showed up.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Mike showed up. Mike, big fan, and he's a big fan of the podcast because what about subject 4? But it was a really good episode. I really enjoyed it.
Oh yeah.
And I enjoy the fact that like the last words uttered was "Hello, Woods." Woods. Oh, boy, that's good. I like that. That's really good.
And at that note, we could probably go to the next episode.
Okay, so we're going into episode 8.
So,
Paranormal voices lead me to his address. So, what?
did you just read the last one, or did I?
You did. That one's yours.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yep.
I'm done. I didn't close the tab. I've been closing the tabs after I've done with them.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
All
yeah,
right,
you
sorry,
went.
continue.
Okay. So we have Paranormal Voices lead me to his address. This was premiered December 21st, 2021, right before Christmas. And the description is: after the deeply haunting ending of the tape that was created by the freshly quit Mike Badal, the team is left stunned. Not only does it leave them further guessing as to what is haunting them, but now it opens an entirely new line of questioning, all surrounding one of the cornerstones of the team, Woods. After taking a breather, they decide to investigate and to see what these whispers have to do with him and the rest of the team as well. Hopefully for an easy answer, but as you know by now, subject 4, these don't exist here. And the answer that the team finally finds may be too much to handle. I love how it's like addressing us it's like a diary entry.
Yeah.
I just reading that, I got like a Lemony Snicket's type of vibe. Like, this is like Lemony Snicket's type of, summarizing the Baudelaire children. This person who's writing this, like, it sounds like a person outside of the story who knows everything about it.
Chanel says, as intended.
Yeah, Chanel, I like it. Now, subject 4. Sounds like a bedtime story, and I love it.
Yeah, it does.
So
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So this bedtime story, this episode, we have basically we listen to the rest of the tape, and the rest of the tape is basically left, right, straight type of thing that we were used to, which was found in season, I want to say 0. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chanel or anyone listening, where they found the QR codes that had the directions from the desk.
Yeah, season 0.
Yeah, to the box of keys. So
very similar situation.
It's very similar directions, which, usually people who do those type of things it's out of habit. So the person who did it before, we assume, is Deb, because it was Deb's desk. So could this be Deb? Because the Hello Woods was very feminine.
It's very possible.
And so it is, kind of
going back to
like
my "you fancy me mad" theory.
Yeah. But basically the directions lead our team to Woods' apartment complex.
Ooh.
And yeah, so during this time, it's too much for Woods. I put that in air quotes, but you guys can't see me. Because he decides this is what we think at the time during this episode. We think, oh, it's hitting too close to Woods, and he needs to quit. He feels like he needs to protect himself. This is too close to home. No pun intended. No, the pun was intended. But he decides, I'm done, and he tells Matt at the end of this episode, I'm done. And instead of like getting back in Matt's car to go back.
He just walks right home.
Yeah,
His car is. I
I
found that
know.
funny. His
Yeah,
car
he
is still
just
at work.
leaves his car at work, and I was like, I thought
So he's
Woods
got to
loved that
take an
car.
Uber to back to the office just to
Well,
grab his car.
Kat says some. Well, that's a different episode, but Kat did mention that he would pick up his car in the
Well, we're
morning.
not going over that episode, but
But yes,
everyone.
yeah, the next episode, air quotes again that you can't see, we're not going over because it is a Reddit reacts, and it was more about John Doe. So we're gonna skip that because there's like the only storyline in that is that Kat comes in and says that Woods is gonna come in and pick up his stuff, and that would be his last day. Would be the next day. So that's the only story that we get. So me and Nugs decided to skip that because it's just reading subject 4 stuff, and subject 4 already knows what we already know what we said
out there.
Yeah, we already know. So to continue, to the next episode is yours.
To continue, the next episode, very, very small title. 2 words. He quit. After the disturbing discovery with the voices leading to Wood's apartment, the rest of the team is faced with a difficult decision. Do they go on without a core member of their investigation team or try to convince him to come back? Everything going on at the studio seems to be following them as people now, and the likelihood of that passing without intervention gets slimmer and slimmer by the day. But it seems as if the quote-unquote ghost haunting them may have been onto something, and Woods is keeping secrets from the team. Yeah, it really can go to all of them. This is your least favorite episode, Garrett? This is your least favorite? Why? Why?
Well, in this,
Oh, wait. No, I think I know why. It was really awkward.
well, it was his least favorite of season 3, he said. But yeah, it was awkward.
Okay.
It was like
it was super awkward. Just all of it.
yeah. Yeah, man.
So 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 the videos start with Matt coming in. What was it? He had whispered something as he was coming in the microphone. What was it that he whispered again? Matt, when he was coming in at the beginning.
Idiot.
Idiot. Yeah, he was like putting on his mic. Oh, jerk. It was jerk.
A jerk. It was jerk.
He whispered. I don't know if that has anything to do with Woods.
I don't think it does. He didn't have his camera on. I think he could have been talking about someone in traffic. Like
so this episode is Woods' last day. So the chat is jerk. But so this is Wood's last day. So at the beginning, Matt, Sam, and Bailey kind of have a little team meeting, and I think Kat's there as well. And they're trying to figure out what are they gonna do for Wood's last day? Are they gonna try to convince him to go, stay? Are they gonna let him go without much talking to him? And they decide to throw him a little bit of a going away party and remind him of all the good times and how much the team really needs him, to see if they can get him to stay. And throughout that part, they Sam and Bailey go to Party City, which we don't see, but they get a bunch of the party supplies and decorate Red Base. And they have a party, and they all have a giant card. Everybody writing a little message to Woods. Tanner's message was my favorite.
I love to watch you. Wait, I hate to see you go, but I love watching you walk away, or something like that.
Yeah, I love watching you leave.
Yeah.
But that party, there Woods is, Woods arrives, and he's got this bin where he's gonna put his stuff, and Matt's like, hey, you want to put on the law for one last time, and then they come in, he comes in, and they have a little party, a little awkward party, and my sister goes, very, very awkward. It was it was weird, and they had the reading of the card. And
Matt
then we
said
get
something like his message was like, "Hey, remember that one time you deleted an entire GG episode and you still kept your job? Do you remember? Yeah? You want to stay?" Like, so weird. It was very, I don't like, there's some people who love cringe videos. Like there's there's
yeah, I
so
don't like them.
many YouTube videos of people reacting to cringe videos, but I can't stand it. I cannot
Neither
stand
can
it. And so
But
it was like, and then we had the confrontation between Woods and Matt.
mhm.
And I will agree. There were some things when I was watching this episode, I was like, legal. Because
Legal, yeah.
I remember talking to Shades, and we were like, legal? Like, how are you going to get legal involved? Your employee quit because ghosts know how to get to his house. Or what we think is a ghost knows how to get to his house. That's creepy. That seems legit. I would quit too. Seems like he has a stalker, stalking ghosts. Like, and then how do you fight that? You can't fight that because now the ghost knows where you live, type of thing. So that's like a legit
Yeah.
reason. How is he going to get legal involved? And the way that Matt pushes is very confrontational. But then as Shades, at the end of this episode, what happens at the end of this episode? Shades said that's where he went, that's what Matt meant. Legal
Do we
getting.
think he knew? Do we think he knew that he took something?
I think he does, because why else would you threaten an employee with legal?
I feel like it was more out of suspicion than it was knowing.
Well, I
I mean,
mean,
like we went over, like possibly Chanel,
it tipped him off.
tipping him off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like it would be, unless Chanel specific, like, hey Chanel, since you're here, did you tip off Matt? I don't think
But
you can say that.
well, one of the
but but
because even
I
the
cannot.
way
Yes, you
he
can. I
was,
didn't think so.
yeah, even I cannot say.
Yeah, but
The way he was, I think it was Agent 47 said, the way he was talking to Woods was like he was giving him every opportunity to come clean about it. So Matt didn't have to do like the bad guy and snoop and
yeah,
pull it out
yeah,
in front of him. Just the way that Matt is behaving in that episode, it was very, it was like what Agent 47 said. It was very like a parent talking to their kid, like, are you
very
sure?
Ben
Are you
like.
sure you didn't eat all the cookies from the cookie jar? And the kid's like, no, but it has chocolate all over their face. Like, that's exactly how Matt was treating Woods.
Yeah. Well,
So,
and this with having, um Mike quit, this also, like I had mentioned earlier, that evil Matt theory, that I still I don't think he's necessarily evil at the moment. Like, everybody's like, oh, he's like he's doing things like Ben, he's this and that, and
well,
he's just,
we'll get into this episode because everyone, this episode that came out Tuesday is the last one we're going to end with. And
yeah.
me and you were talking about it earlier, and me and you think alike. And so we were talking about discussing it, but we can't discuss it between me and you because me and you are on the same page. And neither one of us want to play bad guy because we don't think about, like, we. So anyway,
It's true. I
but
mean,
all of
technically I
subject
could.
4, all of subject
Technically,
4 will play bad guy for us. So
yeah. So
they'll.
all of you, when we get to this discussion, you guys can play, and it'll kind of be like an interaction
Bashes.
thing. We'll look at the chat. You
Yes.
guys can play the part of thinking that Matt is, like, all of you guys go off on on the evil Matt theory, and
Yes.
we'll go again. We'll go back, right?
Yes.
So, and I'll
So,
let you get to that episode.
so this was posted last Tuesday, January 1st, 2022, the new year. We contacted a government experiment survivor. And here is the description.
Oh, is that what it's called now? I think it changed.
We contacted a government experiment survivor. What did you think it was?
It actually says government?
Yes.
Huh. I don't
It's always
think
said that. Hasn't it?
I don't know. It's possible. I was talking about episode name.
Chanel, did you change it? She just goes in and changes it right now.
It
while
always
we're
said
talking.
that. Oh, maybe I'm just dumb.
So, with the spotlight now on Woods, the team is demanding an answer as to why he would steal an important evidence and then attempt to quit the company. The amount of trust they once had in him is severely injured, and once all the cards are out for everyone to see, they discuss amongst themselves if having him back in the known is the best thing for the investigation. But the true test comes when they are presented with a rare opportunity to learn more about the Spire, the possible the hauntings in Red Base. Will they be able to get information they need, or is this another dead end, forcing them to start from square one? I'm gonna answer that. It's probably a dead end. Sorry.
What?
I said I'm just, because there's a bunch of questions at the end of this, and I was like, I'm just gonna answer it. It's gonna be a dead end because that's what Project 863 is. It's bunch of things like the pen from the jail, we don't know. Ronald Bergs, we don't know. The survivor,
doing the voices, we don't know.
Yeah, who's doing the writing, we don't know.
We don't know.
This is the episode. This is the season of I don't know what's happening.
That's a better title for today's episode. We don't know.
We don't know. So we are now all caught up on this season. The road so far. Let me get the show beats that I have.
And
halfway
now we
did.
get to this week's episode.
Yay! Okay, so here's my terrible show.
Right, I'm just gonna pull up our conversation from earlier.
But
okay. Well, I'm gonna be going back and forth because I think I'll read for subject 4, for the rest of subject 4 on this for the side of evil Matt. So if you guys have theories about evil Matt, type them out in the chat and I'll read them for Artemis.
So we have,
and I'll go against him as well, just to kind of, we'll see.
So we have I literally have 1, 2, 3. I have 3 points. I have 3 points because I gave up. Once it said next day, I gave up.
One of our things we were talking about, well, we were talking about the episode, and then we started talking about Matt's shoes. And then we started talking about
Matt's butt.
Matt's butt.
Sorry.
And then Matt and skinny jeans. Just like we got off track.
Yes, we did. Okay, so the show beats. These are the horrible show beats that I wrote for this episode. It opens the Woods' bedroom after he found the file. Woods knows the person, and it's his mom's friend from high school who disappeared, and they all figured it was drugs because of a troubled past. There's a sticky note on the file that says Project Spire. And then I wrote down the conversation between Woods and Matt. Woods, I'm trying to protect her. Matt, what about us? So I just want you guys to remember that was a part of their conversation during this. Matt, what about us? And Woods, I was trying to protect her, type of thing. And then we have the phrase that I keep seeing popping up on Reddit. And this is Matt's quotes, and I wrote it down word for word. I'm going to tell you right now what's going to happen. You're going to move out of the way, and I'm going to walk through that door with this. And he holds up the file. And everyone's all like, oh, man, it's so cruel, it's so cold. Ah!
So this is where I've been thinking about a lot for this episode. So my initial theory from last week's episode, the first theory I brought up when I was on the podcast last week, is that I had thought that Woods was protecting somebody he knew, either personally or somebody who had contacted him, and I was correct in that, right? And I think in the situation that we have, I think that Matt, though, obviously he's going to be mad that Woods took his property, because that file is Matt's property. But Woods is trying to protect a family friend who he's known since he was 7, 8. Is that what he said? Something like that. It was his mom's friend from high school. He's trying to protect her.
Thank you, Zira.
And
Sorry.
as much as this is where I go off on the evil Matt thing. I don't think Matt's evil. Like, he was just angry.
But he wore a black coat that one time.
He
Nuts.
wore a black coat.
He wore a black, and he wore stripes to prison.
Oh my god!
Sorry.
No,
I'm making fun of
that's
subject
exactly what I'm
4.
wanting. That's exactly what I'm wanting. But like, it's a possibility. Yeah, he was wearing a very similar coat, but he's worn a long black coat before. Overkill.
Today, this episode, he looked like Mr. Rogers. He's Mr. Rogers!
Oh yeah, that's another thing we're talking about. We're talking about Matt's sweater. And I was like,
it's a Mr. Rogers
I was
sweater.
saying, I told Artemis, I was like, that's the kind of sweaters my grandpa actually wears.
Okay.
That's what sparked the Matt shoe thing.
Zira said, like, said what I did. If you rewatch that confrontation again, I don't like how Woods is looking at them. I'm not saying Woods is bad right now, but I really don't like how he was looking at them from the doorway. And then he steps into the door and then shuts the door. And if you watch the body language, you just watch the body language, all that, like the way Woods is like narrowing his eyes, doesn't say much, just quietly does that like a psychopath.
Kid in the cookie jar.
Shuts the door, blocks the door with his body. Watch Matt back up, like, and like it's funny too because he kind of puts Bailey in between him and Woods, because Bailey, she's I forget what Bailey knows, but she's a martial artist. Like it's the body language is funny to read in that episode, and but I want to draw back to exactly that conversation again, the clips that I got. Woods, I'm trying to protect her. Matt, what about us? Matt is hurting. Matt is hurting. His suspicions were proven right. He finds this file behind the TV. What is this? So why did you steal this? Why are you lying to us? You didn't tell us, like you're holding with the information. We're supposed to be a team here. And Matt is hurting
after taking it.
Yeah,
right?
and then he quits.
And then he quits trying to protect this person. But, like, I think we talked about it last week, where, Matt kind of seemed to know that either he had seen the file behind the TV, or he kind of knew that it would be in that area, or he kind of knew what he was looking for.
Even if like, okay, as somebody who has been cheated on before, when I confronted my boyfriend...
Shay? I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm kidding.
When I confronted my boyfriend at the time, I had all the evidence of the cheating. I knew it all. But it was the confrontation, like the actual, like, saying the evidence and looking at them, that hurts more.
Yeah. Yeah.
You think you've been betrayed, like, when you find the evidence, but when you actually confront the person, it hurts. And the
Mhm.
fact that, all I see is a hurting man. And I
Mhm.
see, but in the next day, I see an angry man, which he has all the right to be. Like,
Yeah.
I hate the fact that it's like I'm always in Matt's corner this season, but I felt
Yeah.
bad for the dude. He
I
can't even
think I
wear a
think
jacket.
part of I think part of the reason why, we're getting all of this evil Matt stuff is because in the last few episodes he's just been going through things. One of his lifelong best friends, or at least since high
Yeah.
school, quit. Woods, who he was one of his valued employees, one of his good friends, quit. And he's running out of options, really. So he totally has, he has the right to be mad. He doesn't have the right to do some of the things he did, and he could have done them way differently. But that's gross. That's so weird. For you guys on YouTube, somebody put a picture of Loki's face on the Mona Lisa painting. But but yeah, he has, like Artemis said, he has the right to be mad. There's a lot of things to be mad about, frustrated about.
And I mean, yes, maybe Matt couldn't have been that aggressive in front of the camera. I'll play into that. I did, Chanel, I'm sorry if you're here. Um, I literally stopped the show beats after it said the next day, because then it's like 12 minutes of them trying to coerce a victim into coming to the studio, the place that they were victimized. Like, you could have, like, said, meet us at Chick-fil-A, you know? Um, Matt likes Chick-fil-A. Like, meet at Chick-fil-A. Like, he has a nice car. They could have met in the car. Like, or a park or something like that. They did not have, they met John Doe at a park. You
Yeah.
can
I
meet this person
that was one of
off.
those things. That was one of those things in the episode where it found, like, Matt kind of gave up pretty early.
Well,
Well,
well, I mean, Matt was just kind of just, no, I think he's fed up.
yeah, but
But I will disagree with how Matt handled the victim, because I've been a victim of a crime, and I don't want to go back to the place where the crime was committed. So you can't drag me back there. And he's all like, no, just come back. Like,
yeah,
we're YouTubers now. Peace left up. No, so no, I don't agree with how he's handling a victim.
yeah,
That could have been handled a lot better. But I did stop the show beats because it was just 12 minutes of trying to convince somebody to come back, and it was a back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Oh, okay. The only piece of information during that time that I could pick out and theorize about was they did mention that they did talk to a journalist before, and their words were twisted. And the Science Babes
oh
did
yeah,
their live stream last night. I was working, and I could only hear bits, but one of the pieces that I grabbed from their live stream was, who's a reporter that we know? We know about Jordan. So could have Jordan burned this victim? But then I got to thinking, like, maybe somebody who knows that Jordan was a reporter used Jordan's name to shut down this victim,
hmm
because that sounds like a GR move or a Cyphus move.
You say Cyphus move, but we haven't even seen Cyphus.
We haven't seen him move. He could be dead.
Yeah, it's true.
No, but I mean, we haven't even seen GR either. But we do have employee files on them and stuff. But
Yeah.
but the thing is that we do know that Wes knew that had caught Jordan basically being a reporter. So we do know that Synetc was aware of Jordan. So maybe when they caught Jordan, they were able to take her.
It totally,
Well,
it
they could
definitely
take
would make sense.
they could take her, or because I don't see Jordan doing that, because that was her life's work. like the lone gunman in X-Files. That was her life's work. She would have never had shut down a victim like that. But I can see somebody portraying themselves like of Jordan. Maybe it was Deb. Maybe Deb portrayed herself as Jordan and shut down the victim. And now the victim is too scared to talk because they were silenced before and they thought their
Now we're
story was
back
going
on
to get
that
listened
theory.
to. Well, and
The,
that, honestly, that is the only theory I could grab from this episode, other than leave Matt alone. He's hurting.
Yeah, yeah.
And I like the black coat on him, okay? Sorry.
Well, I mean, we kind of have noticed from the past that, like, you know, Matt's. I think it was a while ago where Matt had said that, you know, when he had noticed that he wore darker clothes when he wasn't in, you know, the best place, which, you know, I'm glad he's out of that, and or at least I'm hoping he is, right? But, you know, if he's kind of tapping into that in story, that could be part of the reason why he's wearing that that black coat is he's kind of, you know, going back on the fact that he's probably not very happy with the fact that two people just quit. You
well,
know, he's already not happy that Mike quit, and he wore that coat on the day that Woods quit. So
yeah. Sorry. When I said that was the only theory I could grasp, that was a big old fat lie. Another thing was,
oh
I know.
I'm hurt. I'm just kidding.
Just a liar like Woods. Another theory that I grabbed from that was when Woods was talking about this family friend, which, by the way, I know the name on the file. I am not going to say the name on the file. I am not going to go into that because apparently in story, this person wants to stay hidden. And there are theories out there. You can look them up if you want to. Rather, you didn't. But it's like this person wants to stay private and they want to stay hidden from Synetc, and their subject for, we know her! We know her name! Yay! Let's leak it everywhere. It's like, do you... I don't know. But, anyways, I'm not going to go into the name. So if that's what you came to listen to the podcast
Yeah,
about...
Chanel says could be dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, it could be dangerous for her, and here's subject for... There's videos. There's already YouTube videos on it.
Yeah, I mean, no, they didn't say the name. But, like, yeah, she's trying to stay hidden. You know, she obviously doesn't want her name to be out there.
So
you know, the only
we're not going to be doing it here.
Yeah, exactly.
But Woods does say it's a family friend of his mom. They knew each other from high school, and when she disappeared, they all thought it was a troubled past with drugs. So I'm wondering if that was one of the dirt that they could discredit this witness about, was all like, oh, but what do you know? You're a drug addict type of thing. Because nobody believes drug addicts, because nothing can happen to drug addicts that they need a report, right? Like, anyway. So I'm wondering if that's what they were discredited about, was this troubled past that Woods had already mentioned. So yeah, there's that theory that the journalist who did her research on this victim probably discredited them because of their troubled past. So, but I don't think our team would be like that. I think maybe Matt would probably discredit them because of a past, but I don't think Sam, Bailey, or Woods would ever discredit a victim just because, you know, they had troubles. Maybe, but I don't know. We'll have to see in the next episode.
And I think with, like, she definitely has reason to want to say no. You know, if she had said no, I would have understood, because, you know, first of all, I know she, you know, we saw in the little episode, the sneak peek of next week, she didn't want to be there for very long. You know, and she said in the messages she didn't want to be there. Because that was the place that she had been, you know, experimented on. And I wouldn't want to go back there.
Yeah, take
Would
her
you?
to a park, guys. Like, gosh.
Yeah, like, and Matt was like, "Oh, okay, I'm just gonna give up." That where I was like, "Come on, just invite her somewhere else. So you don't have to do it here."
So,
Like, come on.
yeah, it's just like the PTSD the woman probably has, and you're going to make her walk into the building that she has this
Yeah,
PTSD from.
exactly.
Like, oh, anyway, I highly disagree with that, Matt. Matt, you're wrong, by the way.
Matt, you're wrong.
I defended your black jacket, and I'm telling you right now, everything else was wrong. No, I'm just kidding.
I agree.
I agree.
No, I'm just kidding.
Hey. But that's the episode's. My voice cracks like pubescent male teenager.
Ouch.
Yeah, like someone I know. Not just kidding.
Like someone I know. I mean, it's not. She's not wrong.
Wrong. Sorry.
Wrong. Well, I didn't do that. I didn't do that already.
She's bullying me. Yes.
I quit now. I quit too.
I quit. Yeah, I'm not like Matt. I won't let you.
You won't let me?
Yeah, no. I'm getting legal involved.
Deletes this. Yeah.
Sorry.
I'll delete the server. I'll do it, Artemis.
Sorry. Let's pull some people up. We've got 20 minutes. Let's pull some people up. It could be anything about the episodes that we did. If you have
anything about season 3, essentially.
Yeah, season 3. This is our road so far. So if you have any theories that basically started in season 1 and has just been continually built, I want to hear them. We want to hear them. So just click that little hand raising button, and we'll pull some people up. We'll make it kind of quick. I want to get as many people as we can in this next 20 minutes. We had a lot to go over, so.
We only got 2 people, so if you guys haven't already joined the Discord, I will put the link in the chat.
While Nugs calls them up, I'm also looking at YouTube's comments, so.
Yeah, so if you guys want to hop up here and share your theories, thoughts, and everything else of season 3, we're going to go over we've already gone over the entirety of season 3 so far, so if you guys have any theories pertaining to any of these episodes, feel free to raise your hand. You hit the recording room, and then the little hand is on the bottom. I think I'm going to bring up Southern Gamer. I'm going to bring up, so I'm going to invite you to speak.
He just posted the Nugs finger pointing. Can I join?
Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Oh well, I didn't even look at that. I didn't see it.
I'm looking at chat. Hi, Southern. No, I have not
Southern.
seen your theory yet. I've gotten my life blew up in like the last 5 days.
So, no, I was just gonna say that like, as we were talking, something hit me like a brick wall, literally, because I told Nug like before this podcast started, I was like, man, this is the first time ever I have 0 theories. Like I couldn't think of a single theory to come up with.
Yeah,
and then
me too.
As we were talking, I was like, I recalled back to the beginning of this episode where he like closed the door. If you look closely enough, he looked like down his hallway before he closed the door, as if he was like trying to hide from someone or trying to hide the fact that he found that he had the file from someone.
There was somebody had posted that on Reddit, and I think in the comments, I wish I can. I need to start like actually grabbing authors' names, but somebody in the comment did mention he lives with his cousin, and maybe his cousin knows his family friend, and Woods doesn't want his cousin to know about the family friend. Like he knows what happened to them. So he's not only protecting their identity from the world, but he's also protecting them from his family. Like, maybe they're not ready to come back to the fold.
Right. Maybe didn't he say like last episode when they first went into his apartment that his cousin was away or something like that? Because
he said that she was a chiropractor.
Yeah, I feel like the
Yeah,
fact
she's a
that
chiropractor.
I feel like the fact with everyone like moving around the apartment, any given normal person would come out and be like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Well, especially if they're actively searching the apartment, right?
Exactly.
Right,
they're like, "Are we
and
getting
because
patted down? What
it's
the
her
hell?"
living space too. But obviously they didn't search her bedroom, but
Right. So, I
yeah,
mean,
she's probably
I don't know.
working.
And Artemis, I don't care what you say. Matt is becoming Ben. He's becoming
I'm not saying like I mean
Ben.
we can
I
draw
disagree. I don't think he's becoming Ben. I feel like it would probably take a lot to go as far as to you know setting off a serum bomb. but but
um
but
I don't
it's
want to discredit that theory. I like that theory, but I think it's been like put too much. By the way, Kayla on YouTube, you can go ahead and post that theory and I'll read it out loud if you want to. Um
I
but
was about to say the same thing.
but I don't want to discredit that theory that he is becoming Ben because I do enjoy the similarities. Um
And I just got shut down by Chanel. She's like, I also disagree.
Yeah, well,
uh
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, yeah, I don't think
what
so.
does she know? Like, I know.
Yeah, right.
Uh,
Your opinion doesn't matter. Your opinion doesn't matter, Chanel.
She's not subject
You
for.
know, yeah,
ouch.
you're not subject for.
She's typing.
She's above all the subjects. Who am I kidding? She is God.
Yeah,
But
I mean, in the situation, kind of.
I mean, I'm named after a goddess, but she is the goddess. So,
Ooh.
um, Chanel says, just doesn't seem very Ben like to me. There are a lot of similarities with Ben. Both had accidents with the serum. Both have been manipulated by Deb. Um, there is a lot of similarities, but whether those similarities stopped at season 2, I don't know. Because I don't really see the similarities in season 3. I mean, you can spot them, but I think a lot of it is the black jacket type of thing.
Just the subtle things.
Yeah, so it's like as soon as Matt's eyes start turning red, I'll worry.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
um, but yeah, I mean, I don't want to discredit that theory at all. And that theory will probably remain with us for a very, very long while. Um, but it's one of those things that we should keep in the back of our mind, but not build every theory on that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Also,
Because,
Artemis,
yeah,
I'm sad. I'm sad you missed my meme I posted about you.
I'm sorry. When did you post it?
You're in the podcast. Here, I'll post it again.
Oh, okay.
It was a while ago. She's
Yeah,
got so much going on.
I have OBS. I've got pictures, OBS, the files open, my notes open. I've been now when I secretly a pit viper lover. Shades would love that, but no. Maybe I noticed that you had to screen grab my face from my icon. Maybe I'll post some pictures so you guys can make memes. I stopped making it after Artemis, after Hannah's
Oh my
horrible
gosh.
Artemis, but I'll start posting pictures so you guys can make memes. But yeah. Hold on, I want to read.
No, that's really about all I had to say. I was just like, that hit me like a brick wall, and I was like, oh yeah, that could a clue on something.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? It's always nice to do these roads so far because we forget things like the pen. I totally forgot about the pen. The pen.
I didn't forget about it, but it was one of those things where I decided I'm not going to forget about it. I'm going to keep it in the back of my head in case something comes up later.
And the last episode of season 2, Deb said once she realized that the serum bomb was activated, it disappeared. Hold on, I have to go to YouTube and read that comment. Sorry, Kayla, I'm going. Hold on, I'm a coming.
You want me to read it?
Do you have it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and read it.
All right. So Kayla Hybert, I hope I'm saying that correct, says in the last episode of season 2, Deb said once she realized the serum bomb was activated, you need to be careful. You, your team, and Subject 4 watching this. I'm asking you, you must locate the spire and deactivate it. Why do we, Subject 4, have to be careful? We're just watching. What Deb said ties to something Ben said when they met him in the courtyard.
You know, a couple times I've thought about that because I remember her saying that, and literally just right before you said that in her theory, I was thinking, why would we need to be careful? We're only watching. Like it doesn't. It's not like all of a
Sub-
sudden this is going to connect to literally all of us.
Subject 4 isn't just the audience, though. Bailey is part of Subject 4. Chanel's part of Subject 4, even though she's the goddess of everything. But
Bailey.
Quinn is Subject 4. Tanner's Subject 4. Everyone who doesn't have a subject number, which is Matt, Sam, and Woods, is Subject 4.
Everybody else, yeah.
So I don't think she really means, like, you know, the person in New Zealand watching. Maybe she means, you know, everyone else.
Plot twist, all the files in the file cabinet has some kind of connection to all the viewers.
Oh, God.
Oh, my gosh.
Chanel, is that why you wanted to know my mom's maiden name? No, I'm just kidding. And the last 4 digits of my social. I just thought you wanted to steal my identity.
All of a sudden, there's a file and my mom's name has just appeared on it. Oh.
Hello?
Yeah, no, there's been a couple times.
Things cut out. It was really quiet for a second.
I'm reading.
No,
Sorry.
There was a couple times I thought about, like, why would we be in danger? Like, why would Subject 4 need to worry? Like, but then again, I don't know.
Ink Knight says, completing Kayla's theory, Subject 4 is also in danger. Remember the telephone and the vague ringing in the BG?
And the BG?
I don't know what the B... When
Background.
Woods and Matt
Oh.
were arguing, subliminal messages.
Well, Kayla's continued over in the YouTube chat. So going off of continuing off of what she was saying, where what Deb said was something similar to what Ben said. She says, he said, you tell millions of people to put their trust in you. You tell them you will keep them safe. Matt's never said that he'd protect us, has he? We've never been in any danger.
Well, I mean, if the serum bomb ever, like, went off, you know.
But
the Subject 4 viewers
2
in
states
Los
away,
Angeles
would I be affected 2 states away?
Well, that's
Is
the
it that
thing. Like,
powerful?
but
We
you
don't
know, the viewers watching in Los Angeles would probably be affected.
Oh yeah,
Well,
we don't know.
That's the thing. Yeah, like Nug says, we don't know. What if the one in Los Angeles gets infected, which triggers off a bunch of other ones like that are in like Texas and New York and Antarctica and shit like that. It's just, I don't know. It's just like, what if it's all one big connection? When one explodes, the rest of them explode, and
Yeah. I
then
don't know.
everybody in Subject 4 is infected.
Oh. Well, what Ink Knight was saying, subliminal messages can be carried out through TV.
Oh yeah,
There's
a little bit of a little like advertisement here, but the extended 863 Synetc University, their little videos. There's a lot of, the videos that they have on the YouTube channel. There's a lot of little things in those videos that you can find, little messages that you don't just see from the top.
Well, there's 2 things that come to mind when we talk about subliminal messaging and to control an audience. One is a Doctor Who episode. Hold on. I'm thinking. It was the first. Okay, that's dumb to say. It was the first episode with the 11th Doctor with Clara.
Fun fact, I've never seen Zander.
So what it was people, these aliens were hacking the Wi-Fi and basically downloading people into their collection through Wi-Fi. So people would be trapped in their own computers, type of thing. Another thing that comes up is the game Simulacra. Simulacra is a game. I don't think it's that much off of Steam that you can play, and basically a person who's you finds a person's phone, and you have to figure out what happened to them, and you find out that it was like a program or something like that. Like these are the things that are coming to my mind when I'm thinking about an audience being taken over. What Ink Knight is talking about with the subliminal messages, a Darren Brown episode happened where through the television he was able to control people through a special where he got people stuck to their chairs.
I think I've seen something like that.
Yeah, let me look that up. Darren Brown audience stuck to chairs. How to Control the Nation. It was viewed on Channel 4 in the BBC and Channel 4 over in the UK, and basically viewers were shown a short film and told to sit back in the chair with their feet flat on the floor and their hands on their legs. Darren Brown, who assured the viewers the trick had no side effects, then played a clearing tone that he said would free those less stricken. So basically he made people all over Britain stick to their chairs, and then he had to unstick them, and he did this all through television and subliminal messages. So it was very, very interesting. So
the way
that,
you describe it,
huh?
the way you describe it makes it sound like hypnosis.
Well, it is hypnosis. Subliminal messaging is part of hypnosis. Basically, hypnosis is just suggesting things to the subconscious, and the subconscious goes, oh, okay, I'll do that.
Ignore my dumb moment.
Sorry about that, guys. I'm back.
Yeah, I know Nugs has to go soon, so we're going to have to wrap it up here.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy revisiting all these theories. But thank you so much, Southern.
Fun.
No problem.
Yep. You have a good day, Southern. But yeah, we're gonna have to wrap it up here so Nugs can go on his merry way. But it was nice going over the episodes and recapping everything. Hopefully it sparked new theories or some old ones, and that we can start posting those on the Reddit. I do know that it's already been filmed, but I do know that the team did reach out earlier in a community post sometime last week or the week before on...
It was a while ago.
Yeah,
It feels like at least.
Well, it was probably before Christmas.
13 days ago, yeah.
Yeah. So it was about, like, what should we ask? But I think when they do another Reddit Reacts, I think we should have these episodes that we have gone over, anything that sparked, I think we should put those on Reddit. And please also let us know when you guys post. Put it in our Theorist Theater so that we can upvote it, take a look, have a discussion. And, but yeah, I really enjoyed going over these episodes with you, Mr. Nugs.
Well, I enjoyed it too, Artemis.
Yes. So, but yeah, we're going to have to wrap it up. Shade should be here Saturday. Fingers crossed. Kiss to the wind. Whatever you got to do. Whatever you spin around 3 times. Shade should be here on Saturday for Subject 4 plays.
Shades, don't let me take your job.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Subject 4
I'm just kidding.
plays,
Get better, buddy.
and Subject 4 plays is going to be a special edition, where Shades is probably going to run the show.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, so stick with that if you are a Shade simp like me, or a shrimp, I guess we're being called.
Shrimp. Oh,
A shrimp.
that's funny.
If you're a shrimp like me, then stay tuned for Saturday. Also, if you notice this changes happening on the Discord, we do have notifications. Do you want to explain that really quick before we go?
Yeah, I can do that. So, what we have decided to do today is we have decided to, I guess, show courtesy and to other creators around here, like We Are Subject 4 streams, the 863 Reacts YouTube channel. The Science Babes is already on here technically. But what we have done is we have set up a bunch of reaction roles that you can go into the channel titled Self Roles. Under the community notification roles, you can choose for notifications for people's uploads, such as the Science Babes, A63 Reacts, Amon's channel, so the Spellbound Council podcast, the Art Council podcast, Ellie's TikTok, the Spellbound Inc. TikTok. So if you guys want notifications for those uploads, there is all those different roles. You can hit the corresponding little emoji, and you will get the notifications in the community notifications channel once those upload.
And once again, if you were kind of confused about what Nugs just went over and you're watching on YouTube, in the description below is a link to our Discord. Consider joining us. Yeah, join us. Join the discussion. And yeah, we're like one big happy family here, and we would love to have you guys. But I also want to bring up about our YouTube memberships. If you are a YouTube member, you're really going to enjoy Saturday. Really going to enjoy Saturday.
Oh yes.
So I know we've been saying it, but our entire team here on the podcast, like, I want to say 2/3 of our moderators just either COVID, flu, allergies. I don't know what happened, but everyone was sick last weekend. So if you are a member on YouTube, make sure to connect it with your Discord, and we can link you with some special perks that you are going to get on Saturday. And
I can tell you right now, it's gonna be really fun. I think.
So, but once again, YouTube, we're going to go ahead and say goodbye to you guys. Please consider subscribing. Hit the bell icon if you want to get notifications every time that we post or every time that we go live. And we will see you guys next week. And remember, Subject 4 Plays is not streamed on YouTube. It is streamed over on our Twitch channel, which is also linked down below. And we will catch you guys next week. Bye.